Hey everybody, this is Chris, and this is my, I guess you could say, my mountain bike adventures. I have a lot of different hobbies that I'm into, and if you are new to my channel, I am into droning. I'm into mountain biking now, which is a newer hobby of mine. I used to ride bikes a lot when I was younger in the 90s and 2000s. I used to do bike marathons and stuff like that, like the Tour de Bronx in New York City. I was a marshal in that. And I used to just do it freestyle, getting little things, not expensive bikes, not doing downhill mountain biking and stuff like that. Just really on the roads and streets of New York City. Now, several years later, now that it's 2020, I actually started to get into wanting to do mountain biking. And now I bought this very surprising bike. I was looking for an inexpensive bike. I didn't have the money to buy a very expensive mountain bike for downhill mountain biking. And the prices can range from 600 up to $1,000 to get a pretty nice bike. I didn't want to go with um, a simple mountain bike that you can get from Walmart or other small, big, big box stores like Walmart and Lowe's or whatever. I wanted to get a bike that actually was a good bike, but not too expensive. And that's where most people that are starting to get into mountain biking or anything for that matter, you don't want to start off really big. You're new to it. You're not really used to what's going on. You're going to take some time to really acclimate yourself into getting into the hobby. Um, just like I'm also a ham radio operator. I got my license in December of 2019, and I didn't go straight to the most expensive um, radios and stuff like that. If you know that hobby, so I do have a lot of hobbies, and this is my newest hobby. Now, what you're looking at right now is the cider or sordor. I don't really know the how to pronounce this name. I'm very sorry for that. It I just came up across it looking for bikes online. I wanted to find bikes that were in the range of about 400 to about $600, and which one was best fitted for me. You understand? Um, this bike just came up in an ad, and I looked over it, and I was kind of shocked based on what I saw. It had a lot of good specs. And knowing one thing about bikes, I've been a bike person for a very long time. I knew what I was really looking for, and I knew what I wasn't going to get. So I wasn't going to get the top line bike when it comes to the parts, and I knew that I was just going to get a regular mountain bike that more than likely was just hitting the edge of doing mountain biking, downhill mountain biking, jumps and stuff like that. Now, this bike, one one thing that you have to know about bikes is you have to know if you want to get into mountain biking, and for all of you mountain bikers out there that might be just looking at my video to see a different bike, and another person entering the mountain bike community. One thing you got to know about bikes is the weight of the bike. The bike cannot be too heavy. About 30 to 35 pounds is about the sweet spot for most mountain biking, because you really don't want to get a bike that's too heavy. And one thing I noticed is that this bike is not anywhere near heavy. The frame is all aluminum alloy. It's very light. It does not have all the bells and whistles that that most mountain bikers is going to have. That it doesn't have a one by drivetrain drivetrain at all. It's a 3x9. It is a 27.5, which is where most mountain bikers should say is like the sweet spot for getting into mountain biking. Most people like 27 by 5 inch wheels because it's not small like the 26ers, and it's not too big like the 29. inch wheels that is getting some kind of popularity for the past several years. 27 by point 0.5 is really very popular in Europe and in the United States now. So that's one thing that I liked. Disc brakes, also something that you definitely have to have for a mountain bike going downhill. You don't want your nice rims getting messed up or not really getting that much stopping power when you're going downhill. And mechanical brakes that lock onto your rim, everybody knows it's not anywhere near right. It doesn't help you going downhill. It's very um, sketchy. It may not even work sometimes when you're going into mud and stuff like that. I've been in mud with bikes with those kind of brakes, V brakes and other brakes like that that grab onto your rim, and they are definitely not useful in wet weather and wet conditions. So it does come with front and rear disc brakes. I dialed them in very good and they do work. And I do mean they do work. I'm very surprised about that too. I didn't think that I was going to get a real good disc brake system on this kind of bike. It was about $420. I did not think that I was going to get great brakes. I believe these brakes are about a 7 out of 10, 7.5 out of 10, if I had to be right about that. I mean, candid about that. It comes with a very good saddle, which is very funny. I'm sorry about the lighting in here. It is very early in the morning, and I didn't really want to wake anybody in the house. I just decided on doing this video because it's more or less everybody asleep. I got kids, and they make noise, and that's not good for a video, right? But let me get this to focus. So this is a very nice padded seat, very sleek, it looks very nice. And I'm going to take this out and I'm going to see if other mountain bikers in my area believe that this is a good bike. It has a lot of good branding. I said that in my last video. This is my completed bike right now. I put it together myself. I dialed in everything by myself. Put the light on here. I'm sorry if it looks a little bright or over saturated, but as you can see, it has some real nice disc brakes here for the rear. It does come with a kickstand. Like I said in one of my last videos, the kickstand is something that I like because if you're riding around and you just want to, stop for something to eat or whatever the case is, I like the option of having a kickstand. I don't always want to prop up my bike against a tree or drop it on the floor. I spent all this money on this bike. I want to try to preserve its, it's the look of this bike for as long as I can. Most people treat their bikes as good as their car. Most people clean their car out a lot, or they just pander at it, just doing things to keep it clean, and you taking it to car washes and stuff. Most people treat their bikes as about as good as their cars. I haven't even really ridden this for a test ride, and that's about it. I want to start doing some riding this weekend. Today is Thursday. I want to try to do some bike riding this weekend, and I want to really show how this bike is, in the field. But most people always, I like the kickstand because of that fact. It has metal pedals, which is it has some grip in there. It has the little grippers here in the pedal. It's metal. It does have it has to get a little dialed in itself. It's not too fluent yet, but it's getting there. It is doing its thing. It is a 3x in the front. I really did want to go with a 1x, but I could not find a 1x like at 12 or something like that at all, because for the price range, they just don't have it. But if I'm going to be if I want to be doing some mountain biking, I'm going to keep it on the one. As a 1x, I'm not going to switch up and down in the front at all. Most people that do mountain biking that do have a 3x a 3 by is they're not going to use all the rest of those gears in the front at all. You know, I might use that on the road when I'm not doing mountain biking. I will be riding this on trails, hard trails and stuff like that, bike trails that are more likely going to be paved surfaces and stuff like that. And I would like the idea of having a 3 by, but if you really want to do only mountain biking, then I can understand doing a 1 by. Um, I was going to, I really wanted to get a 1 by, but not being able to get it is not a huge um a no go for me. I'll just keep it on that one gear ratio. It is a 9 speed in the back, so that does give me some good range. Um, it does give me some range here. Not the best range for mountain biking. Most mountain bikers might say that it's not the best drivetrain for doing mountain biking, but just getting into it, I believe that I'll be able to. I dialed it in. Every one of them work. That's one thing that you got to make sure of, and I've been doing that since I was a teenager, even a kid, making sure that my gear set works. And I became more of an expert on how to dial these in. Over the years, in the 90s and early 2000s, I was very into riding bikes, and I always had a 21 speed and stuff like that. I went into a 24 speed when I was younger, about 2005, 2006. And I always understood how to make these gear sets work. If something I noticed that was wrong, I typically figured out how to make sure that it works by manipulating the derailleur. This is a 9 gear set here, as you can see, and all of them work from the first gear all the way down to the 9 gear without having any slippage or any issues. It took me a little while, and sometimes to get this thing perfect, it does take you some time and understanding of how to do these gear sets. It's very tricky sometimes, and even the pros. I know pros back in the day that used to be like, "Oh, how did you get it to work so perfectly?" And I was like, I used to always spend time just paying attention to how these things work. And back in the day, we didn't have YouTube, we didn't have anything to go by. We had to do it on our own. And that's how I learned how to do it. It's like you can't, back in the day, you couldn't go on YouTube and or any other kind of social media or any video vlogs or anything about bikes really at all. You had to do it on your own. So and figure it out on your own unless you took it to a bike shop. And I never took my bike to a bike shop to get dialed in at all, ever. I never took my bike to stuff because I wanted to learn for myself. I wanted to learn how to do it myself. So I sat on the floor when I was young and I just learned how these things work. And that's why I know that this works fine. I know how to do it. I knew how to do it. When I got it, it was almost perfect, but I made it even more perfect. It was changing when it first came out of the box. Most of the time, they try to make sure at the factory that at least the rear, the drivetrain is working in the rear. The front typically works if it is a 3 by. It typically works because it's not that much to do, but I made sure that that worked as well. So both of those are working really good, and I believe that if I'm going to be doing part downhill mountain biking casually and then doing road biking on trails on the road on hard surfaces, paved surfaces, and maybe a little bit of dirt surfaces, having a 3 by might be a little bit more suited for that because you get better range in the front, and that works for hard surfaces. And yeah, I know if you're doing mountain biking, having a 1 by system works better for that situation so that you're not worrying about where you're at in the front and in the rear. You keep it typically on 1 gear in the front and you're manipulating the rear derailleur. So that's how I'm going to do it for now until I get more acclimated into it. I have more money to spend. Right now, we're still living with the world pandemic, so I don't have that kind. Nobody really has that kind of money to really spend right now, at least. So that's that. It does have very good tires. It's not a tubeless tire set, which I also wanted to try to find. I couldn't find a tubeless tire at all. Not for the price range, or they just didn't have anyone. Yeah, mostly it was the price range. Once I started finding bikes that did have the tubeless system, no tube tires, it was really more expensive, and I just could not find anything in the range that I had with tubeless tires. But this is Kenda, and that is a good name brand. And these tires are really nice. I really do like these tires. They're not suited. This is more like a multi-purpose tire right there. I'm going to invest in getting some downhill mountain with more grip. This does have a little grip to it. It's perfect. It's a perfect road bike slash a little bit off road. I wouldn't do extreme off road or downhill mountain biking. Stay little moderate, little jumps here and there. Let's go a little bit further up. You already know about the pedals and the front, the three gears here. It did come with a rear um, flashing light for you know if you are out at night. So that was really a plus there. It came with this one, and I like this one. It's pretty bright. Um, this is my light that I bought that came with this front torch here. This one is really nice too. They all, this one charges USB, of course. This one you have to buy one of those little, I call it medicine tablet batteries, cells. It doesn't charge, which that's the only down point for me there is that it didn't come with a USB charging method for this one. And I guess that just, a generic little light. But it is bright, very bright. And I rode this at night a little bit and I looked at it from a distance and it was very, very, very bright. It does do the job. So I'm not too, upset about that. That's a good, accessory there. Going to the front, it did not come with the water. I mean, the canteen. I put that there myself. It did come with the mounts though, which is great. Coming up to the headrest here, on the headset here, it. I'm surprised about everything on this bike. Coming down to the fork. The fork it does come out with a lockout here, and it also comes with a travel lockout here. I call that a travel lockout. You can dial it to where it goes down a certain amount. And I was playing around with it. As you can see, this line right here is just about how low it goes on full suspension give. I guess it'll go all the way down. So this is about just riding. This is where I was trying to push it down as much as I can, and it came about here. So that was really good. It feels very good. It feels very good. It doesn't creak, which some forks do. I don't know what the model is. Somebody might be able to tell me in the description. Like I said, I'm not an expert on these things just yet. So if you know what model or what kind of fork system this is, it's pretty good. I don't know if it's a tapered here. I can't tell. Somebody did ask me if it's a tapered set here, and I don't know that. I can't tell. I don't think it is. It looks like it's not, based on this little part here. That looks like it's just it just goes straight in and has the ball bearings here and washers or whatever. Same thing goes for the top, but I see it doesn't look like it is, but it does have these little indentations that might show that this is just a ball bearing in here and a ball bearing in here. Maybe I'm not going to take it apart to do that right now. I might do that one day just for kicks, take it apart and see how that works. But as you can see, it's very nice branding. It's not stickers, guys. These are not stickers. I thought that they were when I first got the bike, and I started feeling around and I was like, holy crap, these are not stickers. So that right there tells you right there that this is a real good put together bike. I mean, most of the time, that bikes, if they want to cut corners and cut costs, they put stickers for their branding, right? And this has branding all over the place. And there's even It even got some wording, some, up here. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. Let me see if I turn off the light. So what it says is, don't touch my bike to avoid being hurt. So that's usually you'll see like a helmet warning here or something like that. Typically it'll say, oh, warning, wear a helmet or something like that, or don't ride without a helmet. So this is a little funny. My kids and my wife thought that this was very funny, a little comical. Most people riding these bikes are somewhat of, yeah, rad, or how you would say gnarly kind of people. Um, yeah, this is another brand here. It says it's aluminum. Um, I can't tell what this is supposed to mean right there. Maybe somebody was says 46061, 46061. So I guess that's the brand of aluminum or something. I like the way that this thing, it has like that triangle shaped. Um, I forgot what the top bar here is called. Um, it's my life. So this, this, and it also has the rear derailleur goes into this in. So that's pretty nice. It tucks away the brakes, but the derailleur for the front, it goes in to the system, and the rear also goes in to here. So that's kind of cool. I was kind of shocked on that. I was like, wow, that's kind of cool. So, it has branding all the way back here. This is not sticker. So that's, this bike I want to say is, um looking at this bike, you would be very hard pressed to believe that this is about a $400 bike. To be honest, I bought a bike from a neighborhood bike shop back in 2014 that cost me $650. It was let me remember the name of that bike. Um, it was the German bike company. Um, I know people will probably remember it faster than me.